was therefore immediately taken personally.
Palembang, Pelita, tujuan Palembang.
Yang sudah Anda terima. Peraturan keselamatan penerbangan sipil menetapkan bahwa semua barang bawaan harus ditempatkan di bawah kursi atau di tempat bagasi di atas. Dan segera melapor kepada awak kabin jika perangkat elektronik Anda mengeluarkan asap dan atau panas yang berlebihan. Hilang atau terjatuh di bawah kursi. Konsumsi rokok konvensional or in the overhead luggage bins. Please do not place your luggage in luggage bin containing safety equipment along the cabin aisle and food area. Exit. Please learn the safety instructions card carefully. If you are in doubt,
Bentar ya.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight that you're speaking. Welcome aboard Blitar Flight 310 for destination Palembang. Flight to Palembang will take 1 hour flight time, 28,000 feet from sea level. And our weather to Palembang, weather reporting a little bit cloudy. And weather at Soekarno-Hatta Airport still reporting good. Temperature in the ground is 26 degrees centigrade. Currently, we're still on the boarding progress. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. Thank you.
cabin crew close doors on flight and cross check. Left and right hand side. For emergency exit window seat configurations, flight in the center cabin. 2 on the left hand side and 2 on the right hand side. Baju lampu dapat juga dikembangkan dengan meniup pipa karet. Lampu akan menyala jika sumbat baterai dilepas dalam air. Life vest can also be inflated by blowing into the tubes. The lamp of the vest can be activated by pulling the tank when you are in the water. Tetap duduk dan kenakan sabuk pengaman. Tarik masker ke arah untuk mengalirkan oksigen. Buka masker kesehatan Anda terlebih dahulu. Pasang masker menutupi mulut dan hidung. Kaitkan karet di kepala dan bernafaslah seperti biasa. Pakailah masker Anda terlebih dahulu sebelum menolong yang lainnya.
di kabin bagian belakang. Merokok di dalam kamar kecil adalah bentuk pelanggaran hukum. Perlu kami informasikan bahwa kamar kecil di dalam pesawat tidak dilengkapi. Ladies and gentlemen, the fasten seatbelt sign is off now, but we recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened while seated. Bantuan, mohon tidak ragu untuk menghubungi salah satu awak kabin kami. Terima kasih. Ladies and gentlemen, to be able to enjoy the Starlight service, you can access it. We need you have to open your tray table in entrance so we can put your meals securely.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight of your pilot speaking. And now we are starting our descent to Palembang. With this information that weather at Palembang still reporting good visibility 5 kilometers. And temperature on the ground is 26 degrees centigrade. On time arrival at Palembang, 45 minutes passing 7 at local time. On flight with Pelita, and cabin crew please prepare for arrival.
Ladies and gentlemen, shortly we'll be landing at Sultan Mahmud Badarudin, the second international airport in Palembang. The local time now is 20 minutes to 8 a.m. There is no time difference between Palembang and Jakarta. Please fasten your seatbelt. Adjust your seat back to the upright position.
Bapak dan Ibu yang terhormat, selamat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sultan Mahmud Badarudin II International Airport in Palembang. Thank you for flying Pelita Air, a member of Pertamina.